Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Blazer Victory podcast. John Duncan here. And of course, I'm joined as always with my co host, Darion Smith. And Darion, buddy, I've got a feeling this isn't going to be a pretty episode because UAB did go 0-2 on this road trip. UAB is yet to win a true road game this season under Anna Kennedy. They go 0-3 on the road so far. As you know, we had the recap on FAU. We can hit on FAU if we want to, but we did that on our instant reaction, guys. If you have not listened to our FAU game recap, go ahead and listen to episode 124, the previous episode. That'll get you caught up on all what happened in the FAU game. But what happened Saturday night just simply wasn't pretty, Darion. UAB drops a game at FIU where UAB blew a double-digit lead and lost in overtime 90-87 to the hands of the FIU Panthers, which is quite frankly a very bad team. I'm not even gonna. I've seen some Blazer fans saying like, "Well, they're not that bad." No, this is this is a team UAB should have rolled. Like this UAB. I know they just beat Charlotte Thursday night, but UAB had no business like letting FIU hang around in this game. And UAB got it up the lead up to double digits, but just a very frustrating, couple of games for Andy Kennedy and company.
Yeah, I mean, not only the FAU game and in this game, but going back, honestly, it's always been mixed in there. Like we haven't really. I mean, I still haven't let go of really of that Toledo game and how we looked. And I know we didn't have our identity then.
Yeah, and that was early on, but still, I agree with you.
Yeah, that game really bothered me, and then to see how Toledo has carried on since that, it's like, okay, what are we? Because they're not the team we thought they were,
Right.
And then you just go on to I remember seeing some flashes and going back to South Alabama, that game got tight. And South Alabama is not all the basketball team, but seeing how they were able to take advantage of, of some of our weaknesses. And then of course you got the UTEP game. It's kind of like, which I thought we lost that game.
Yeah.
But by the grace of God, we pulled that one out. And so I'm like, wow, okay. We ain't who we thought we were, because you look at West Virginia, that was a big game we had circled. You look at Toledo at the time was a big game we had circled. You go to FAU, that was a big game. Mm-hmm. We had circled. We lost all three of them. It's a good argument that we deserve to lose against UTEP. And then you got this FIU game. And it's just like the cherry on top. And so it's kind of it makes you reevaluate. Who are we? Are we who we thought we were? Okay, let's talk about some of these problems and let's be factual with it. We don't have to be ugly for the sake of being ugly, but we need to be factual and honest.
No, we do. I 100% agree. And Darion, before we started recording this episode, we both agreed that hey, we are going to title this episode "How Will UAB Basketball Respond to Adversity?" Because, buddy, what they do these next three games, I mean, that could tell how this season is going to go. Yes, they dropped 2 on the road in a row. Thank God we don't ever have. I saw Dave said on Twitter. Thank goodness we don't have to ever play at FIU Arena again. I'm so glad we don't have to play there again. But I mean, this team, Darion, you cannot. I don't think you can argue that this team is the most talented team in Conference USA, let alone one of the most talented mid-major teams in the country. But when you've got finger pointing, when you've got guys fighting same teammates for the rebound, when you've got just careless turnovers, like these guys have got to learn how to communicate better on the court. And that is what I tweeted out right after the game. I said, look, It's obviously, hey, they got to work on rebounding, but they've got to work on communicating with each other as a team. Because if you want to play good defense in college basketball, you've got to talk to each other. You've got to know where each other is on the court, who's got who. And half the time, Darren, I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like they don't know what in the hell's going on that court.
Yeah,
Like, do these guys even want to put? Some of these guys, do they want to play defense?
I don't know, and I did love I didn't catch Andy Kennedy's. I didn't hear myself his statements after the game, but I caught the what he said, the text of it, and people said the passion that he had in his voice was saying, "Hey, I know the changes we need to make, and I'm gonna make them. You know, they're gonna play defense."
That's good to hear.
He said that this game was on him. He accepts all the responsibility, and they will make the necessary changes. And they said that he was very, very passionate and very, very upset. And I love that. I love to hear that, but I like to see more. You
Yep.
know, I've always, from the beginning of the year, I've always been worried about our roster construction.
Mm.
With that being that we have two small guards. Like Aaron Gaines is a good defensive player, but he is still a small guard. He's 6'2" max,
Right.
but he's not a sturdy 6'2". Like if you looked at some of FAU guys, they were like kind of big, you know, like as far as for guards, they were small in height, probably 6'1", 6 foot, but they had some muscle mass on them. Eric is very athletic, and he's very explosive, very quick and fast, very quick and fast.
Mm-hmm.
But he is not. He is very slight of build, and he's short. He is best at defending point guards. So then you got Jelly. Jelly is he's a defensive liability, and we all know that he's only 5'11". Like he can only do so much on that court. And so I always thought like having two guys that size in the backcourt, that was going to present a problem. But I thought that maybe we could overcome it, because Ladarius got pretty good size at 6'5". He's not the biggest guy nor the most explosive, but he has some size and he can move. And then we got Jemison and Buffin back there, both are good defenders. Shout out to Trey Jemison.
Hey, hell of a game at FIU. Yeah, he career high 17. I mean, it's almost like he listened to. I mean, he probably didn't, but it's almost like he listened to our FAU game recap and was like, "All right,
we challenged him."
Yeah, yes, and he rose to the occasion. Like I thought he played very well at FIU. In fact, he was he was our best defender on the court. And I know that Darren, with his size, like a lot of the times he is, and he knows he has to be. But yeah, shout out to Trey Jemison, because I thought that was one of the few bright spots to take from FIU Saturday night.
Yes, Trey has size, but he's not that explosive. He is extremely strong, extremely big individual with enough explosiveness to him. So he just needed to learn how to correctly use his body and put in his positioning. He can get a lot of stuff done. He just got to do it a certain way, like I said, like a Steven Adams in the NBA. But I think he did a good job. 17 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. Like he was like the lone bright spot, and he seemed like the only guy that was interested in playing defense. I like our bench pieces. I like I like some of our bench pieces coming out, but I'm just ain't no other way to put this. It's like our starting backcourt loaded with talent. Like I said, and I was talking about the roster construction and how hard it is to cover for defense. Cover defensively for each other because they're both small. So if you kind of lean them, this is one of the first years I've seen a lot of guards posting up against our guards. Like I said, we go back to the FAU game, and then Janelle Davis, every time he's a guard, he's like 6'3". But every time he had Jelly on him, he turned into Javian Davis. And he got 2 and 1s on Jelly, like a 6'3" guard. And then he started going right at Eric Gaines because he was still bigger than Eric Gaines and more physical. And once you get to a certain spot, there's nothing you can really do. We had to try KJ Buffin on him, So that's our weaknesses are glaring. Not only that, with Jelly, and Jelly is one of the greatest Blazer basketball players ever. Let me preface that. Like, Jelly is up there. I'm not gonna say he's the best because I don't know. It's too many guys. But
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. Yeah.
he's up there. We all know that.
Oh yeah.
Well, the thing about him though is if I'm a coach, I'm saying, hey, get him out of rhythm. Don't let him score. What is he gonna do? What is he gonna provide other than scoring? If I'm the opposing coach, I'm gonna just take him out the game because playmaking, well, in the FIU, he had what, 8, 9 turnovers?
8 turnovers, yeah.
To how many assists? Man.
Oh man, hold on, let me look real quick. Maybe 2. Hold on, he might not even got that. Let me see.
I think it was somewhere around 3 or 4.
Oh, he got 4. Yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't get his game, he couldn't get his shot going. It's other ways to affect the game, and him being his size, his stature, say, okay, the defense is always gonna respect his shot. Of course, that's the reason they're gonna fight over screens. They're gonna scream and run at him and get him out of rhythm and make sure he doesn't get an open shot. So if he missing them in the beginning, then maybe later on in the game he get an open shot. He gonna clank him then because he's out of rhythm. Well, you gotta find other ways. Like if you know that your gravity from shooting the ball is pulling so many guys, okay, let me set up guys. Or let me play off ball. I got 8 turnovers. I'm clearly forcing the ball. I'm trying to do stuff and I'm forcing it. Let me run off of screens. Let me create gravity so maybe Eric can do pick and roll and maybe Eric can get downhill and use his athleticism. Let me sit in the corner and spot up. Mm-hmm. Like it's different ways to affect the game. Like let me get in the middle of the defense and let me drive and kick. Like find ways to affect the game other than scoring, because to me it seems as if his scoring isn't going, nothing is going for him. Like his passing, his decision making,
it's all off. Yeah, I agree.
It's all off, and that is a true criticism. Anybody can see that. This isn't talking bad. This isn't talking ugly. This is real. Any coach is gonna scout that. Mm-hmm. And then also like with Eric, everybody's gonna scout like with Eric. I will put Eric I would put him in positions. I would put him in positions to make. I want him to make a decision. Like, so what we've seen from him is he'll turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. Especially in critical moments. You ratchet up the defense, because I don't know if that's more so an Eric thing, or I don't know if that's a team not being a team thing. You make the call. It could be both.
I think it is both. I mean, the only people that truly know the answer to that is the coaching staff, like Andy Kennedy, Ron Cross, like those guys really know what exactly happened Saturday. Hey, we're not coaches. We just, watch the games and we, give our analysis. But Saturday night was rough. And I saw a lot of Blazer fans upset that Andy Kennedy didn't pull Jelly earlier. Did you find any criticism on that, Darren? Or I mean, because I like that he did pull him late. Like he pulled him late. He didn't start him in overtime. Like he made Jelly sit on the bench. But I saw a lot of people upset that he wasn't pulled earlier on in the ball game.
Well, it's cool to be an armchair coaching and say that. Like it's cool to do that. Like I'm our armchair coach. It's what we're doing right now. Like it's cool to do that. I honestly can understand where he was coming from. I don't think there was a right answer, because I mean that's the guy. That is the guy. Talking about all the CUSA Player of the Year. This is the guy. So if he's already established himself as that, you're gonna ride with him. You're gonna live and die with him most of the time. Like that's
if you're Andy, you're thinking like, okay, surely he's gonna turn it on at some point. Like he's not gonna just be completely lifeless the whole game. Like he's gonna turn it on and get hot like Jelly always does.
Right. Yeah. Like you're gonna. I mean, when we saw some flashes of that in the FAU and UTEP, he's been in a funk for a couple of games in a row. But even in those games, he still found ways to score. Like toward the end, he still made some clutch baskets. He still got fouled, got downhill and found ways to get fouled, get to the free throw line. He still did those things. So the way your roster is constructed, you are really heavily dependent on this guy, to get it done. And more times than not, over his career, he's gotten it done. Well, this is a new team. This is a new year. And I think this team can be scouted and this team can be prepared for. And
Look, the blueprint is out how to stop Jelly Walker. And it's been proven these last couple games. All you have to do is stay on them and make them uncomfortable. And that's exactly what FIU, FAU, and who was before that? Was that UTEP?
UTEP.
No. Well, yeah, scratch out UTSA. Yeah, and UTEP as well. Yeah.
Yeah, scratch out UTSA. That was a scrimmage. But, with UTEP and even games before that, you stay on, you make them see multiple bodies. Mm-hmm. You run them off of that 3-point line, and when you get there, you have another body there waiting in help position, and you make them make a decision. You have active hands and be physical. I think that's the number one thing against UAB that I would do. I would be physical, and I would make them. The other thing is you make them defend. Like, okay, I see that I'm finna pick on you, Jelly Walker. I'm gonna pick on you. I'm gonna get downhill. So I'm finna make you worry about me. Everybody's worried about you, but I'm gonna make you worry about me. So now that's gonna affect your game offensively, and I'm making you work. A la back when Cleveland won the championship against the Golden State. One thing that they did, they would constantly set screens and get Steph matched up on LeBron. Get Steph matched on Kyrie Irving. And it's like, no, you ain't finna sit there and just make threes the whole game. We gonna make you work, and we gonna make you defend, and your legs gonna get tired, and we're gonna target you, and we're gonna target your weaknesses, and we're gonna go at that. They've been doing that to Jelly Walker. Every guard I've seen, they say, "Oh, you lunch," and that stuff will take your legs. And plus, Jelly plays heavy minutes.
Yes, he does.
I mean, that stuff is gonna get to you, and then you're a little tired. These guys are banging on you, and then you have to be a leader. So another thing I see about this team is, like, I tweeted out that this team is missing Quan Jackson.
Oh man, we are missing Quan Jackson. Especially on defense.
Oh my God, he was a dog. He was rough, and that galvanizes. Think at Trey Jemison, you got a guy like Quan Jackson out on the perimeter. Mm-hmm. He's really stopping a lot of that stuff that's coming in, and it just helps you. And then he get in there, he'll get rebounds. He was a high flyer. He just played the right way. We don't have nobody on the team providing that. Nobody.
Or if we do, we haven't seen it yet. I will say that if we do, we have not seen it yet.
I would welcome them showing us, and I think we kind of get it. He do it in a different way. I'm really talking about from the wing and the guard position. But KJ Buffin does a lot of the dirty work stuff, like, but he's a 4-man, like he's a big. You can only do that in so many ways. But as a 6'4", 6'5" strong, physical, athletic guard, defensively tough, he wasn't the best shooter, but he would get in and find ways. He would cut to the basket, get fouled. Like, he did a whole bunch of things the right way, and his joy for the game, like his joy for his teammates, was just on display. One thing that worries me about Eric, like when I have gone to the game, every single game I've gone to, I've seen him having extensive conversations with coaches. It look heated, look like he providing pushback. Something don't look all the way right there. Now you think about Quan Jackson, you think about Michael Ertel, and how mid-range Mike, in all of those tense situations where the offense died down, man, he could find a way to get to his spot, get a good jumper off, and we at least get a shot up instead of a turnover for a layup on the other end. In tense situations, when it's close, right now for this iteration of the basketball team, I don't believe in us. I get nervous. I say, we probably gonna turn the ball over, because that's what we've done.
Yeah.
That is not a knock. That is not oh man, you being negative. That is what's on film. Like that's what's on film. So the reason we say these things is because these are the things we want to see fixed defensively. 90 points from freaking
FIU.
FIU. 90. 90, bro.
Ridiculous.
Everybody
And I know it went to overtime, but still, they only scored 11 in overtime. So,
90, bro.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Dog, anybody that plays UAB, it seems like they eat. Like, you know, hey, we probably UAB we can lose, but we depend too much on outscoring people.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we play is kind of flashy. You know, it's kind of like, you know, all these step backs. I was telling you in the FAU game, it's like, hey, we kind of came back in and we went on our first run when they went up in the double digits in early. We settled down and got good baskets. Javian Davis came in, good sound baskets. Trey Jemison had got some baskets. It was like, okay, there we go. Some good fundamental sound, not all crazy. Just get to good positions and get a good shot up. All of that wacky, frenetic, that stuff, when it gets tense and it gets real, all of a sudden, when teams lock in, that stuff that's not dependable. So we went up by double digits. All of a sudden, turning the ball over.
Yep.
You know, our defense don't travel well. And next thing you know, we get physical. We start pointing fingers at each other. They get physical. And that lead evaporates. We've seen that happen. That happened in Toledo.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we were up by 7? It felt like we should have been up by 15 at halftime.
Yeah.
Like it evaporated like dust. Like it's just honestly, this team has to find an identity defensively.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be scrappy. If we're gonna have a small backcourt, then we're gonna have to be up in your grill. FAU is small. Is small, but they are scrappy. They fly, and it's like they want to play for each other. Man, this team, it's kind of frustrating to watch, man, because you get the feeling it's all about stats or something. Like it's all about
highlights and stats. Yep.
Highlights and stats. It's like it's political, like playing time. Like I should be playing because I'm this guy. Man, I don't care because you know who I like. I like Butter Johnson.
Oh yeah.
He seems steady. He seems like he's gonna play the right way. I wish.
And he's a freshman.
A freshman.
Yes. Like these guys have been. Eric Gaines played at LSU. Like Jelly's a veteran. Like these guys. I don't know, man. It is extremely frustrating to see. And I know it's frustrating for Andy Kennedy. I mean, you can see it on the sideline. Like, if you go back, and I did not catch his post game either because, I mean, to be honest, I was pretty frustrated. I was kind of done. You know, I was texting you. We were venting about it. But, like if Andy Kennedy truly does, you know, see the issue about it's really just some guys in particular – I'm not going to name on the podcast, but that just are not given the effort or intensity that they need to give on the defensive side of, you know, when they're playing defense, then hey, all those highlights and ESPN clips and stats are cool and all, but hey, if you can't play defense, you're going to sit your butt on the bench.
Because that's not winning basketball.
Exactly.
That's not winning basketball. We looking to win. Forget all that other stuff. We want to win.
Gene Bartow built this athletic program. Like, this is a winning culture at UAB. And Andy Kennedy knows it more than anybody else.
Yeah, he knows. Hey, yeah.
So, hey, it might rub some guys the wrong way. But, Darion, I would not be surprised to see that starting lineup shaking up a bit come Wednesday night against Western Kentucky.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll be I want to see it, and I want to see the response. I would want to see the response to it because we don't have those leaders like Quan and Michael here.
Mm-mm.
I feel like those guys were the guys that kind of just really glued that team. And I think that Joy is missing that. Probably got something to do with Taven Love and playing the way he's been playing.
And also, I did meant to mention, I planned in my notes to bring this up. Something is nagging him. Like, I don't know if it's his lower back or something, but I think something is, you know, he might have something going on. So that would
explain a lot.
Yes, it does. It does.
So he's not the player. Like, who is this guy? You
Oh,
know,
not at
he's
all. Missing layups, missing dunks. That is not Taven Lovin. That's not what we've seen these past couple years.
Taven is a good all conference caliber type of guy. Like he's not the guy. So, you know, if there's something else nagging him, instead of playing through it, I'd rather rest, like just rest, and then once you're 100%, you know, get back because we need that guy, and we need his leadership. He's been here. He's a vet. We need his lead. We need all the leadership we can. But you know, I'm just worried about how everybody's gelling. Like, you know, like as much as I like all the things that KJ provides, you know, sometimes when we see him, he gets technicals and you know, it seemed like you can get in his head. So I don't know how stable his temperament is. Eric Gaines has been kicked out the game before, and like I said, he's the guy I really worry about because he seemed kind of disconnected at times, and like he has to be picked up, you know. And so my thing is like when everything isn't going right, what is your response? Because
And Darren, that comes back to communication. Like the guys have got to talk about it on the court. Pick each other up. Like
yeah,
I'm tired of the finger point. You watch it on TV and you see these guys just pointing fingers or yelling at each other like you missed this. No, like talk about it and explain what happened. We don't need to be pointing fingers. We need to just figure it out.
and
Like,
I hate to see Jelly going. Jelly is like naturally like a happy-go-lucky guy.
mm-hmm.
And I think if you take that joy away from him, like it kind of it's probably not what he signed up for. He's a guy that plays with joy. All last year he played with joy and happiness. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can see it. But this year it seemed it ain't. I don't know why, but that same joy and happiness, that same jelly smile, I've been seeing that a lot less. You know, so honestly it might be new territory for him. He has to find that joy. He find it like no matter what's going on. I know it's different personalities on the team this year. And honestly, like Trey, like up or down, it seems like Trey is the only one that's kind of like stable out there.
Right.
He's like the grown man reading the newspaper out there, and he's the one that's like kind of keeping it. So you know, we're gonna need the president to kind of try to steady
Reel
this.
everybody else in, yeah.
Yeah, I think once they accept their roles, become a pesky, tough team, you ain't got to be all world defensively, but they need to feel you. You know, it need to be some togetherness. It need to be some help defense going on out there, like some guys driving in, that shot either getting blocked or you getting fouled hard. You know, it need to be. I need to see those guards get tough. You know, and I think and I just need to see some leadership. I need to see some togetherness and some care for each other. And I think it's a lot of basketball left. We have the talent,
Yeah.
but
Hey,
talent.
they can ride this ship, man. Like they can ride this ship. You've got plenty. You've got all of January, February, and hopefully playing a lot in March. Like you've got some time to get it together. So that's why these things that we are talking about right now, and talking very frustrated about, but these things are fixable. So
Yeah,
and I have tons of confidence in Andy Kennedy that he knows what's going on and that he will know how to correct this going forward.
exactly, and that's why we like talking about these problems because we're gonna be real. I don't care if the players listen or not. They probably don't. They probably do. I don't care if the coaches listen or not. They probably do. What they're gonna realize is that we're never gonna disrespect them or talk down or talk bad about them because those players are ultra talented and his coaching staff is very, very good.
Right.
That don't mean problems don't exist. There's clear problems. So we're talking about them and we just hope that they get fixed. Like we're not here to be all pie in the sky and sell a dream. We're here to just talk about the reality of the situation and how to fix those things. Like I said, we're not coaches. They know what's going on truly. Only we speculate on what we see.
Right.
So like we don't even know their personalities, but like I feel like watching the game, you can get a good.
You can tell, you can tell. And hey, for you basketball folks that are new to BVP, we did the same thing with football. Look, Blazer
Same
Victory
thing. This is the
podcast.
same thing.
We are going to be authentic. We are going to be honest, and we're just going to tell how it is. We had a lot of football players and other people in that building that listen to us, so we know, we've got some basketball folks. We are never going to rag on a guy. We are going to be extremely positive and give praise when praise is, deserved. But at times like this, I know that whole locker room was frustrated coming or after the game at FIU. Like UAB let this game just evaporate in front of their eyes. Like they led by as many, was it 14 in the second half, and just this team, this staff, these fans, UAB fans, of course you're frustrated with that. Like we came in with expectations to win Conference USA in basketball. Hell, we came with expectations to win Conference USA in football. Like, hey, we embrace high expectations with UAB athletics. We embrace it. So how will this UAB basketball team handle this adversity? It starts Wednesday night in Bartow. Granted, it's a late ass tip at 8:00 at night for CBS Sports Network. So I won't be back at home till 10:30. But that's okay. Hey, let's get it turned around.
Another opportunity.
Another opportunity. Hey, you're sitting right now 12-4, 3-2 in Conference USA play. 12-4 is still a good record. 3-2 is not a terrible conference record.
We can throw at large bid. Let's get that out of our mind.
Okay, see, I wasn't gonna bring that up, but let's shut that down. Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Unless you win out like convincingly the rest of the way, maybe you have a small chance of getting in. But no, that loss to FIU, the loss to Toledo, 0 quad 1 wins at this moment. Like
it's over.
A quad 3 loss or a quad 4? I don't know, but that FIU was terrible. Like you have completely lost your at large talk. So it is all about going forward, getting better, just heading towards that tournament in Frisco, Texas in March. That's what this is all about. It's sad because hey, Darion, we talked about on this show, this team was in at large talk for a good bit of this, season through these 16 games. Like even though we lost the FAU game Thursday, UAB was exactly like UAB's net ranking and Ken Palm, like everything was good, but you lose to a trash team like FIU in Ocean Arena or whatever the heck they call it.
That make it worse.
Like, bro,
that court make it worse. Like,
bro, how are they even allowed to have the ocean on the court?
But,
like,
to confuse people. Well,
it might have confused UAB.
Yeah, that probably was it. But this is what I want people to understand. This season is far from over. There's nothing but opportunity left. And if you are a real competitor, if you are someone that is really looking at how to better yourself and looking inward and getting the most out of something, the talent is there. The talent is part of the ingredients you need. Let's say the talent you making some kind of steak or something. The steak is there, but how you season it and everything else is what's needed right now. Like we got the talent, we got the main part, but we have
real quick. I don't want to interrupt you, but I was listening to the song by Usher called "Burn" from his Confessions album earlier today, and you bring up the steak, man. Don't let that steak burn on the grill. Pick it up, medium rare. That's what I like it, or medium. And let's get this together, man. Let's get it together. Let's get it together.
We got plenty of opportunity. Like when
the feeling ain't the same, bro.
Yeah, with the feeling ain't. Hey, me and you both married, man. We both got kids, like, and we know that marriage. This is turning to a whole nother podcast. We know that marriage is not easy, right?
It ain't a cakewalk.
Yep, in those tough moments, you sit down, you communicate, you get on the same page. And on the other, I always say it's good on the other side of hard, but you got to go through the hard. You got to go through those growing pains to get to where you. But you got to be willing to do that. Are you willing to do that?
You have to respond to adversity, and let's see if UAB can do that. They've got 3 good chances coming up. You've got Western Kentucky this Wednesday night, and then you've got 2 tough games on the road at Louisiana Tech at the TED, and the Glass House in Murfreesboro against Middle Tennessee. So you've got some chances. Hey, and after that, you've got North Texas coming to Bartow. So
Yeah,
let's get right. Let's get right before that day.
What is the fire gonna do to you? Is it gonna burn it? Is it gonna burn through the team, or is it gonna create a diamond? Like you are at a crossroads to where you choose. Like those players on the team and those coaches. You gonna let this fire create diamonds, or it's gonna burn through the team? But now we're here, so it ain't no more time to say, "Oh, we're gonna figure it." No, we're here. We got this at the same spot in football, and it burnt.
Don't be like Usher and let it burn.
Don't let it burn. So we'll see coming up.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, we're 35 minutes. This has been great. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll be back next week to recap what happens against Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, and Middle Tennessee. Go Blazers. Darren, you want to send us out, buddy?
Go Blazers. Blazer Nations. Let's ride.
Trent Dilfer getting them recruits.
You.